Okay, so Fraction Busters Day 2. I'm going to just solve a few of these problems so that you guys can see it because they look a little different than they did before. Okay, so I'm going to actually start, I know this is odd, but I'm going to start down here with these two because those do look a lot different. And you can actually do these a couple different ways. So I'm going to do this first one using our Fraction Buster method. So if I were to do a Fraction Buster, it would be like writing this one over 1. And the common number that I could use is a 2. I could multiply this side by 2, like the whole side by 2, and I'm going to do this. I like to put parentheses around that so I don't forget to distribute. And I can multiply this side by 2. Okay, so let's do that. The 2 goes into 2, and it actually cancels out over there. So all I have on this side is an x plus 3. And then over here, I have a 5 times 2, which is 10. I subtract my 3, and I get x is equal to 7. Remember, I always double check myself to make sure I did it right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to plug it in. 7 plus 3 is 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So I'm good to go. I know that that's my right answer. Now, another way to do these, when you don't have addition or subtraction like this, where it's like two different ones, this right here is known as a binomial. If you have something like this, you could write this over 1 and cross multiply. You could cross multiply. So my daughter's in 6th grade, and that's what she's learning how to do right now, is she's learning how to look at these and then cross multiply. You are honestly welcome to do either method. You end up getting the same answer. I'll show you that one. I would have a 1 times a t minus 5, which is just t minus 5. When you multiply by 1, you just get t minus 5. And then you'd have a 2 times 3, which would be 6. We end up getting t is equal to 11 here when I add the 5. Had I done it with the fraction buster, I would multiply both sides by 2. Right? So then the 2 cancels out the 2. I end up with a t minus 5. And over here, I end up with a 3 times 2, which is 6. You can see either method would work for these type of problems. But now I'm purposely going to go back up to number 1. You cannot cross multiply here. It doesn't make any sense at all because you've got this separate little thing right here. I'm going to get my cat down. Sorry, guys. Okay, so on this one right here, what we have to do when you have this plus 2 out here, and it's not just everything over here, is you have to find a fraction buster. So the thing that can get rid of my denominator, this is like over 1, this one's like over 1, is I have to multiply by a 5. A 5 is my least common multiple, or what I would call the fraction buster. Okay, my fraction buster is going to be 5 for this one. So if I multiply this one by 5, and this one by 5, and this one by 5, I'll be able to solve it. The 5 makes this 5 go away. 5 divided by 5 is 1, so I get f plus 5 times 2 is 10 is equal to 8 times 5 is 40. I'm going to subtract this 10 so that way I get that f is equal to 30. Like I always do, I don't trust myself. I could have made a math error. I'm going to plug this 30 in for f and make sure that we get this 8. Okay, so if I take 30 divided by 5 and then I add 2, I should get 8. 30 divided by 5 is 6. Plus 2 is 8. Yep, there we go. I know I did it right. I'm going to pick and choose these. So I'm going to actually skip 2, and I'm going to move on to number 3. Looking at this one, I could write each of these over 1 just to help me out. To bust away the fractions there, all I have to do is multiply by 8. So I'm going to multiply by 8. I'm going to multiply this one by 8. I'm going to multiply this one by 8. Okay. So we end up getting, well, 8 goes into 8 one time. So that first one that first one I'm going to get 1x. Okay, so this is x. Plus 3 times 8 is going to be my 24. And the last one, 12 times 8 is going to be, well, 12 times 4 would be 48. So it's really 48 plus 48, which would be 96. Okay, to get x all alone, I'm going to subtract the 24 from both sides. I end up with x on this side is equal to 72. 72. Again, I always want to double check my work. So 72 divided by 8 plus 3 should equal 12. 72 divided by 8 is 9, plus 3, 10, 11, 12. Yep, I did it right. My answer is 72. Okay, I'm choosing one more for you guys. I'm actually going to pick number 5. And that'll be the last one that we do today, just to refresh our memory here. Now this one, if I wrote each one over 1, my fraction buster, the thing that's going to get rid of this denominator, is 2. My fraction buster is 2. So I'm going to multiply this by 2. I'm going to multiply this one by 2 and my 8 by 2. When I do that, this one goes away. I end up with a 3y. Now I have a negative 1 times 2. That's a negative 2. Is equal to 8 times 2, which is 16. I'm going to add my 2. So I get 3y is equal to 16, 17, 18. I divide by 3 and I get that y is equal to 6. Remember, I always double check it to make sure that it's correct. So I'm going to plug it in here. I have 3 times 6 over 2 minus 1 should equal 8. Okay, 3 times 6 is 18. 18 divided by 2 is 9. And 9 minus 1 is 8. So then I know I did that one correctly. Okay, so that's how we do our fraction busters. There's one more down here that's like a challenge. Let's see if you can get it. If you'd like to try a trinomial times a trinomial, that would be awesome. I'm not going to go over that one because it takes a little bit too much time and it's not really something we're doing during this one. That's more of a repeat of lesson 1. But I wanted to show you these ones for sure so that you can see another way that fraction busters work.